Alright, welcome everyone. This is Tech, back with a part 4 on our Crusader Kings 2 tutorial series. And this particular episode is going to deal mostly with warfare tips and tactics, so to speak. How to go to war, what happens during a war, things you need to do and take account of while at war, and even before you go to war. So we've got a fair amount to cover. First thing is, if you're watching this video straight from coming from episode 3, is you're going to say, hey, Tech, what the heck happened? You've been playing without us. Yeah, I have a little bit, because at the end of episode 3, I thought maybe this would pan out, where I'd help my one cousin against the other, and would be able to show some more stuff. And I did start recording that, but then it just really didn't pan out to be anything that really was useful. So I went ahead and played for a while. As you remember in the beginning, I was only holding these 4 counties over here. What you basically missed, I can get you up to speed here in about 30 seconds or so. What's basically happening is my brothers, who hold Leon in this other area over here, they've been going down and starting to war on all these Sunni regions, and as you can see, they're expanding. Well, I needed to get in on that a little bit, and so I quickly, what I did is I jumped over here into Katayand. I'm not sure. Again, I butcher a lot of these names. But I went ahead and jumped in here and grabbed this one state because they really weren't going to get any help from anyone. Crushed them pretty quick. Jumped over into this other one, crushed them. Then, I don't really recall what happened with me getting Zamora, but it was probably something similar. I'm not really sure what happened exactly. And then I used my de jure ducal claim against my brother, who rules Leon, to get this area back, if you remember when we discussed that earlier in the game. So I exercised that on him because he's been having a lot of trouble dealing with some of these Sunni states. His armies have been really hammered. He had almost no resistance against me. He was trying to fight me with armies of like 100 against like my army of like 1,000. So I was able to beat him into submission pretty quickly, and then, you know, exercise my claim on grabbing this county here. So that's kind of what you've missed in the time that I've been playing. I'll show you real quick here too before we get going. As you can see, my king, he's been moving along pretty well. I've got him up to 6 out of 7 defense size, but we're up to 24, whereas originally, you remember, we were at 12. So I basically have doubled the size of my kingdom. Also, my wife has been working out pretty well. We've gotten some heirs. Our main heir right now is Ash, of course, because it's good to be the king. He's my oldest heir right now at 11, so we do have that lined up, and we're looking good in that case. And we do have a second son, Elvis, is our backup heir just in case, and we have 3 girls, so that's all been working good. I did help my one brother out over here a little bit, and I wish I didn't because it cost me a lot of troops and a lot of time. So anyway, that's where we're at. Now, what we're going to do here is, since my brothers are going crazy down here grabbing all these Sunni regions, which is a good strategy, of course, I'm going to go ahead and continue to do that myself. My goal is right now is these 2 regions right here. This is what we're going to battle on this video. I've targeted them because obviously they're the only ones that are adjacent to areas that I already control. It's a small 2-county area, which is ruled by one guy. He doesn't really have any friends. The reason I can look at that is you can click on diplomatic relations over here by the mini-map, and when you click on any region, it'll show you the diplomatic relations. So like I'm clicking on one of my regions here, and you can see these blue ones, they're all semi-friendly to me, because we're in the same dynasty. And you know, you may say, oh, well, wait a minute, these guys over here, yeah, he's negative, but we're still in the same dynasty. So he won't necessarily like join someone to go to war with me or anything. He doesn't have a reason. And that's one point, in case I didn't mention it here, is these Sunni states, you don't have to have a real good reason to go to war against them, because you can use the old Holy War Clause. If you're trying to go to war against a Christian state, like if I was trying to go to war against one of my brothers or cousins, as you've seen in the past videos, I have to have a reason. So that's where your chancellor comes into play, trying to fabricate claims and things like that. The only other way you can get away with it is with the you know, de jure ducal claims or whatever. But against the Sunni states, it's real easy. If you notice here, Oh, and getting back to the overlay, see, I clicked on him, and then it shows his relations. As you can see, nobody's green or blue or anything. He's all by himself. Nobody really likes him, so nobody's going to help him if I attack him. So that's kind of the advantage of this. You know, same thing with these guys over here, these guys over here. You know, these are all up for the taking, basically. And that's kind of what my brothers have been doing over in this area. So we're going to grab these guys. So let's switch our map back real quick. And I will explain more of the war stuff as we go along. Now, one of the first strategies when you've picked somebody out like this that you're going to go to war against is you can look at them and you can kind of guesstimate about how many troops they're going to have. You say, hey, how can you do that? Well, you can basically click on the county region. You can look right here at their total county levy. And see, I can see that their total county levy in this area is 653. And in this area it's 525. Well, of course, they're not going to get probably every single one of them. So I'm estimating they're probably going to get about 400 or so out of here, and probably about maybe 300 or so out of here. So they're going to be somewhere around 600 to 800 troops probably altogether, which I shouldn't have any problem just with my base troops. And the way you can check that is if you click on the military tab, right here I can look and see my max total. And actually, it's even clearer if you just look at the unraised. I can get 1,156 of my own personal troops, and then I can pull about another 569 from my vassals. So I can get up somewhere around about 1,700 troops to his 700 or so. So I shouldn't even really need mercenaries. If I think I do need mercenaries because I want to get it over with quick, you can click right here on this tab of mercenaries and hire mercenaries. Now, in the recent patch, they just upgraded the cost of them. It used to be about 60 for these lower ones down at the bottom. Now they're 75, and the maintenance is a little higher. I think it used to be around 5. Now it's around like 6 or 675 a month. So that's how much money you have to pay. You have to pay 75. If I want this 1,500 troop right here, I have to pay 75 gold up front, and then I have to pay another 675 every month that I have them in my service. So it can get expensive, and you got to watch your money. Right now I only have about 75 gold. I could sit for a few months before I declared war, but for the purposes of this tutorial, I'm not going to wait. If this was a big active game I was going to play out to the end, I would probably sit and wait until this got up to about, at least 100, 125 or so. But I'm not really worried about this because I don't think I'm going to need mercenaries. I should be able to pull this off just with my own troops. And again, as far as the reason goes, what I was discussing before I got off track there is if I go here and do declare war, you can see here I have holy war for Valencia that I can declare war on these guys with, which is what we're going to do. We have some notifications up here, but they're nothing I need to go into for the purposes of this video. So what we're going to do here is, let me go ahead and start this up, and I'm going to try to make a point of when other notifications pop up, I'm not going to address them that much because I just want to stick to the warfare part on this particular video. And I have a list here in front of me of things I want to discuss, and I'll try to hit as many of them as I can and show you basics of things to do and what to pay attention to. One little thing I like to do prior to going to war is look at my money situation. Right now I'm in a green plus. However, when you do bring your troops out, you are going to have some costs. So one thing I like to do right from the beginning is go into your council, go to your steward, and have them go and collect taxes in an area. Right now they are in Burgos collecting taxes, so I'm going to go ahead and recall them and just send them to a different one of my other areas, just so I don't piss the population off there too much. But you want to get your steward, if you have your steward off doing something else like researching economy or something like that, right before you go to war, switch them to collecting taxes, because that will help to raise your money income and help you out while the war period is going on. So that's just one little small tip. I think that's the main stuff to set up, so let's go ahead and one thing is you can't have any troops raised up prior to going to war, so you notice I don't have any troops at all. I'm going to select who I'm going to war against, right click on them, click the diplomacy, declare war. We're going to do holy war for Valencia, and we're going to send. Boom, we are at war. Now, while it's still paused, the first thing you want to do is you want to go into military, and I'm going to raise my own personal army, my levies, which levies is wording for armies. I'm going to raise them first, and you can see it's going to cost me 2 gold a month to support my personal army. Then I'm going to raise my vassals' levies. Now you have 2 buttons here, and I'm not mega clear on this, and I could be saying this wrong, and someone can feel free to correct me. But you have 2 buttons here. You can either raise vassal levies, or you can raise realm levies. And basically what that is your vassals' levies are going to be a slightly lower number than the realm levies. But the realm levies, you're going to be getting, like, you know, a small mayor's army from a city who's, you know, maybe not one of your vassals. It's a city army of, you know, 12 guys or something. So the numbers are going to be slightly higher. You know, you could go either way. If you really think you're going to need as many troops as you can get, you can go with this. If not, just raise the vassal armies and don't worry about the rest. And you can save them back. I'm just going to raise the vassal armies for right now. Okay, so we have everybody here. Now, one thing I'm going to do is, if you look around here, you can see all the armies I have. One thing I'm going to do is I'm going to separate them into 2 groups. And I'll explain that in a minute, why I usually do that. I usually don't like to stack them all into one big army in a situation like this. So, yeah, and this, I'll explain this too. You may think, hey, this is pretty funny. You have 7 dudes down here. Well, this was a Sunni nation, Sunni region that I had taken control of. You're not able to pull troops out of a Sunni region until you can get your chaplain in there to convert them to Christian religion, which I had just converted them to Catholic not that long ago, and so I'm just starting to get troops up out of here. And right now he's over in this region that I got second and trying to convert them. They're still Sunni religion. So, and I'll show you how to do that here in a minute too. But anyway, getting back on track, I'm going to separate them into 2 armies. Let's see, I want to have one army that's going to be about 400 or so. Actually, let's do this. I'll have that army go there with these 381 guys. And then I'm going to have these all go here. And there. And that should be everybody. Okay, I'm going to unhit pause now. So I'm going to have 2 up. We just had another daughter. Excellent. Marry her off to somebody important eventually. Alright, so I'm going to move them all down here. I'm going to have my larger force coming down in this area, my secondary force of about 400 here. And see, here we can see their troops. Now, this is a little bit of an issue that we're having here, is that Aragon, or whatever, has decided to jump in on this with me. We're not really allied, but they're just jumping in on it because they have ducal claim or whatever to it. So he's down here fighting them already. That can be a bit of a problem here in a little while, because what's going to happen is if he starts sieging one of these areas before I get down here, he's going to lay claim to it when the war is over. And that kind of pisses me off a little bit, but there really isn't much you can do about it. Let's just go ahead and see. Maybe they'll kick him out. Yeah, he's sending more troops, though. I need to hurry and get in there. Okay, I think it's too late. And the way I can tell it's too late is if I click here on this region, and you can see right here, if you go over here and look, it says Siege of Castell, and see it has the other guy's banner. And it says if the siege is won, the controller is going to be this other guy. So that sucks. That didn't quite work out how we wanted. What I'm going to do, though, is I'm going to move the other guys over here. Actually, I'm going to move everybody over here. Screw him, I ain't gonna help him. Alright. Now, alright, he's having issues, but we're not worried about that right now. Okay, failed sally by the defender. Basically, the defenders tried to maneuver when I was sieging them, and it didn't work out, so they're taking a troop hit and a morale hit, which is good for us. Now, one thing I'm going to show you here real quick is a little bit of stuff with the interface on the armies. Okay, remember I sent a couple troop groups up here. Right here I have, 350 army force, 105 and a 31. That's the 3 armies that I kind of sent to that area. There's a few buttons up here. The most important one that you're normally going to see is this merge the selected units. So if you highlight a whole bunch of units, you hit this blue button here, boom, it merges them into one force. If you have at least 3 armies, it'll put them in the 3 flanks here. So your more powerful force will be in the middle, and then it'll flank with the 2 lesser ones. If for some reason you needed to split them up, you can click New Unit here. It looks like a similar button, and then it shows the 3 armies, and you can sit here and split them up however you want. Say I wanted to split him out, I could hit select and then move them out of it. But they're fine together, so I'm not worried about that. Same thing down here. I have all these together, these forces together. I could merge them together into one group, which we'll do. And they're sieging this. Now see, on this siege here, you can see that we will get control of this. But over here, this guy he basically stepped in and ninja'd it from us. Alright, here we get a 5% losses. They pulled a quickie on us. Let's go ahead and merge our last couple groups together there, so we're all in one group.